going on, guys? My name's Dynasty. What I got for y'all today, and again, is another Soul Calibur 6 video. We got a ton, and I mean a ton of brand new Soul Calibur 6 information based from interviews. Brand new gameplay demo actually got released yesterday, not to mention just a bunch of, I guess, news articles as well. There's literally been just a jam-packed amount of news these last 2 days, and I'm here to break down everything I can because we got a bunch of new stuff. I mean, not even too sure where to start, so I guess from here I'll just start off with the fact that we now see the presentation for characters inside of Soul Calibur 6. What I mean by that is like the character select screen, the stages, the intros, the outros for both Mitsurugi and Sophitia. Just in general, they look pretty cool. Here's a clip right here you can see. This is going to be like the character select screen. You can see we have at least 20 characters right now. I understand there's only 20 inside this gameplay demo, but in an interview, I'll show you guys after this, it's actually confirmed. It's kind of just like a placeholder. Same with like the stages as well. You can see that the intros look super duper sick. The presentation of this game is going to be off the chains. Not to mention, like I said there earlier, those 20 slots are just a placeholder. Check out this interview right here. Bam! The number of playable characters, and from there it says parentheses, the count of empty slots around Mitsurugi and Sophitia was not representative according to Bandai Namco, and says there, the possibilities of creating / customizing characters, the unfolding of story mode, or the online game options remain under construction until further notice. So at the very least, you're going to have 20 characters inside of Soul Calibur, which really shouldn't be much of a surprise because every Soul Calibur game I think has had more than 20 characters on the roster. But yes, it's confirmed at least 20 characters in 12 stages. Not to mention, there's also some expectations of what characters we're going to see because it was confirmed in one of these more recent gameplay demos that got released yesterday that we're going to see a majority of the roster inside of Soul Calibur 6 comes from the very first Soul Calibur game and also from Soul Calibur 2 and Soul Calibur 3. Mainly Soul Calibur 1, but a few other additions from, of course, 2 and 3. I mean, this game is being called a reboot, so I mean, it only makes sense for the first 3 games, you know, rosters to be relevant in this game because, like I mentioned, it's a reboot in some sort of way. But, yeah, I guess I'm sorry for those who were just now getting into Soul Calibur and the franchise, and you might like some of the newer characters because this game's gonna be solely focused on, like, the OG characters from the franchise. I really can't complain too much. Most of my favorites were introduced in Soul Calibur 1 and 2, so I'm honestly pretty stoked to hear that. So all your fan favorites should return in this game. Yes, super duper exciting. Also, the guys over at Game Centro actually got to interview one of the producers on Soul Calibur 6 over there at Bandai Namco, and he also confirms a bunch of information, talks about guest characters, talked about if this game would make it on the Nintendo Switch. A lot of cool excerpts. I have the full link to this article down below. But first things first, check this out right here. Bam! The interviewer asks, can you say whether the guest characters will be different for each format? Of course, for like each format, he means like for every console. Kind of similar to what we saw in Soul Calibur 2, how, you know, you had Spawn on the Xbox, you had Hiyachi on PlayStation 2, you had Link for the GameCube. Of course, there he says in English, sorry, I can't say that. From there, he also says, is there any chance of a Switch version so we can have Link again? And of course, like I mentioned, Link was the guest character in Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube, and his response, the producer's response was, Soul Calibur 6 development started more than 3 years ago, and nobody knew anything about the Switch back then. So, as a matter of fact, we are not working on Switch as of now, but of course, personally, I'm interested in the platform, so if the Unreal Engine can adapt to Switch and evolve itself, then maybe the possibility will be more. So as of right now, this game is going to be on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC, and not on the Nintendo Switch. However, that is subject to change in the future, kind of similar to the game's roster right now. Things are not entirely finalized. Maybe once all the DLC gets released for this game, they'll have like a Game of the Year edition ported over on the Switch. That would be really cool in my opinion. That'll probably come out like 6 to 8 months after the game's actually launched. So, I mean, hey, that's always a possibility. We see other fighters do that, so why not this one, right? Of course, from there, the interview actually goes in this direction, talking about some more guest character action. Bam! The interviewer says the guest characters are also a major selling point, but it did seem as if they'd begun to overshadow the series. And of course, the producer says, I do understand that the guest character's presence is quite big in the previous Soul Caliburs. In that sense, I'm hoping to be able to introduce guest characters in this game and to be able to surprise everyone, but I cannot say any more. So again, it's confirmed there's going to be guest characters at this game. I'm sure as we get closer to the launch, we might see some more teases, and honestly, I'm really stoked to see what characters we can expect Moving on though to the rest of the interview, the interviewer says this, bam, I know you can't talk about other characters in the game, but the design and attire of a character like Ivy, whether she's in the new one or not, are a lot more problematic today than they were when the series began. Is that something you intend to address? And of course his response was, after a long pause, I understand there are different opinions about such characters, so I think what's most important is how you want to express and design such characters, and not just the female characters, but I still want to keep the body shape and the atmosphere of each character to be the backbone of each character. And of course from there, the interviewer says, but do you have any female designers working on the team? And he says, of course. So I think that was just kind of some confirmation that, you know, obviously these days you can't get away with what you could back then. Mortal Kombat 9 being released today would not fly for obvious jiggle reasons. I mean, that's the reason why Mortal Kombat X had a lot more of a serious tone. Injustice 2 saw a bunch of censoring with the gear system. Of course, I covered that in a video. If you missed that video, link down below. A lot of attire got changed because it was too risque. And of course, Ivy is practically wearing just like a bodysuit that's like an inch wide, and it's not even clothing, really, is it? Technically. So I guess it's cool to see the guys over at Bandai Namco are like, we understand that things are, you gotta be a lot more, you know, PC, politically correct. And but they're not going to completely just shy away from that. She's still going to be Ivy. A lot of these characters, I mean, they're going to have to be adjusted, but I mean, for the most part, they're going to feel true to themselves. That's pretty cool. I just want to throw that in there in this video because I thought it was so cool to see Bandai Namco stand behind their design. Like, you know what? Things have changed, but each character will still be themselves. So I thought that was cool. Had to throw it in there. But anyways, this interview is a pretty damn good read. So the full article down below. Of course, if you guys want to see like the full gameplay demo, I'll have a link to that below as well. Like I mentioned, there's a bunch of new gameplay going out. A lot of just Soul Calibur news daily, it seems. I love making these videos. Hopefully you guys will, you know, like watching them. But if you did, please drop a like on, of course. Please subscribe for some more, you know, Soul Calibur 6 and Injustice 2 content. And until next time, been here with Dynasty. Take care, stay safe. Cannot wait to see what guest characters are inside this game. I hope there's a Switch version. Honestly, just bring on the news, man. I love this stuff. I'll see you guys later. Peace. One of the greatest. You deserve more exposure, man. You underrated. To all the Dynasty haters, promise you'll love him later. Y'all gon' react like he did when he seen the trailer. But hold up, let me hit y'all with a twist. Wait, I'm Sub-Zero. The rap game is the Lin Kuei. You see, I've been a fan of Dynasty for years now. GTA, MK, Injustice. I'm still down. Rapper meets gamer.